Hello StarCraft fans, Horst here. I have a PvP replay for you guys today. It's on 4-gate. A lot of people do the 4-gate incorrectly, I think, in PvP. They seem to think the objective is to make 4 gateways at some point in time and then just make units randomly. No, there's actually a very specific timing you can do for the 4-gate where it hits at around 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Makes it very deadly against all other builds and makes it probably the most used PvP build there is. So this will be just a brief overview on how to do that. You start off like most PvP builds, you get a standard 9 pylon, which is completely normal. And following that up, you go with a 12 gateway, again, completely normal. You send a scout out right after you get the gas on 14. I'm being a little greedy at this point because it's a bit larger map. Normally, if it's a small map, you want to send your scout out right after the first pylon, because he might be proxying you. He's not going to proxy on a map this big, or at least most people won't. It's unusual to do it. But you get your cybernetics core at 16, 17 supply around there. Another pylon at 15 supply. That's normal as well. My probe, scout. What did I see? Yeah, I just saw 1 gas. So he might be doing the same thing. But when I did scout him, I noticed his gateway was slightly behind mine. So I'll have warp gates first. You throw down all 3 gateways at around 23, 24 supply. You can continuously chrono boost out warp gates. You want to put a proxy pylon up at around 24 as well when warp gates are about halfway done. I do like making a stalker first to kill any probes. And you want to move that stalker out so it'll reach this pylon around the same time that you get warp gates. So you activate all your warp gates and warp in more stalkers. The first wave is just stalkers. Then you put a pylon on the low ground here and go up his ramp. Now I did manage to kill his sentry, which is good, but he did force field it, so I have to wait for that to end. And if he starts to kill the pylon to start warping in another one, you need to be able to have warping on the high ground. So just walk up the ramp, warp in 4 zealots this round, focus fire anything big and scary like an immortal, and then basically you just win right there because he has nothing to defend this. He can warp in things slowly, but it's not going to help him. And of course, once you're in his base now, the first target are pylons. Go after them, supply block him, and unpower his building so he can't warp in any defenses. Very easy to do. This build is very powerful, very easy. Just one more quick thing. I think I did that in this game earlier on. Right around when you get your first stalker out. I think I skipped over this part. Right when your first stalker is coming out, you immediately want to check for proxy pylons. I sent my stalker out. I see him warping in a pylon there. So I'm just going to shoot that with my stalker and force him to cancel it. Come back around and kill his probe so he doesn't have any proxy pylons, so he can't warp in. One thing that can stop 4-gate, or at least do a fairly decent job slowing it down, is if he gets a proxy pylon somewhere in your base, warps in like maybe 2 zealots while he's holding it off here. So if he can hold it off here and kill a bunch of your probes, he wins. So you want to try to avoid that by killing any proxy pylons. But other than that, this build is very low risk. The only thing to watch out for, again, another thing to watch out for, back at the beginning, when I am first scouting him, if we check my vision, and there we go. I mentioned this before, but my gateway is done, or what's not gateway, cybernetics core. He just started a cybernetics core. Well, I had my cybernetics core up already. That means I'm going to get warp gates faster, which means if it comes down to a base race, I'm going to win because I'll have more units warping into his base. If you see that your cybernetics core is warping in slower, it might be a good idea to get an extra stalker to check for pylons around before you do an all-in warp gate push. Or send a couple of probes around, check for pylons. Just be very careful that you don't have any pylons when you push out, because if he warps in before you do, he will win. But that's really all you have to worry about. It's very easy to do, and it's very fun, not really fun, but very easy build. So I hope you guys learn it and dominate your way up to Masters. This was a Masters level game.